Let's talk about how my Oura Ring made me break up with my best friend.
Yes, bro, that health ring made me rewire my thinking. But in order for me to get to that part of the story, I need to give you the background.
Morgan is the name, purple hair, purple car. Brows match the whip, camera on no avatar. Beamer for the whip, the bike's 4 and 2. There's another picture that give you an option to choose. We collect stamps, Southwest, JetBlue. Flying Delta to Tokyo, Colombia, Peru. Fashion, beauty, lifestyle events. Life on the move, it gets intense. Crossing off our bucket list, one story at a time. This is my life, this is my vibe. Press play, enjoy the ride. Pause, take notes, and then rewind. Welcome to Morgs versus the world. Doing fun shit every day, I'm just a girl. Welcome to Morgs versus the world. Doing fun shit every day, I'm just a girl. Morgs versus the world. I'm just a girl. Welcome to Morgs versus the world. I'm just a girl.
So me and this girl got closer and closer over the course of 5 years.
She was always full of life, like truly knew how to make a room shine. Sincerely a bright and genuine woman.
So over the course of the friendship, there was this reoccurring pattern.
Where basically a problem would happen, or like a potential problem. I would offer solutions that had her future and, like, in my eyes, her best interest in mind, and she would basically ignore it.
And of course, no one is ever obligated to take my advice. I like to provide it just to give an outside perspective, because sometimes people can be blinded by their own emotion. I also live by the rule that if you see a dog with blue stripes, but everybody else in the room sees a dog with purple spots, then it's a dog with purple fucking spots. If enough people are telling you the same thing, it's just a little naive to not listen. And these weren't like small or simple concerning problems. These were like major, literally will change your life forever decisions. And the advice that was given was from personal experiences or by learning from other people's mistakes and just honestly hoping that she wouldn't go down the same rabbit holes.
Like, it's not just me giving advice, it is our entire friend group. And she would do opposite of what we said and then get herself in some bullshit.
And it got to this point where I was constantly having to dig her out of situations that could have easily been avoided. Me having to be the shoulder she cries on, help her financially, medically, all of the above, it was draining. Like, I'm a super empathetic person, but sometimes not in a good way. Like, I deeply carry the weight of other people's problems, which is why I don't have any negative friends. Like, I've always had to separate myself from overly negative people or those that complain too much because it mentally affects me. And this only refers to people that are complaining about the same thing over and over again. Like, I completely understand that things happen in life. There's regular life stresses, and I'm totally fine hearing about those. And like, if somebody wants advice or somebody just wants me to be an open ear, totally fine with that. My issue is when the person is complaining about something that they have every opportunity to fix or change on their own, and they're like purposely choosing not to, but would rather just complain about the same problem. So I want to say the last 2.5 to 3 years, she was just making like gobsmackingly dumb decisions. And I want to tell this story without like spilling her business to be respectful, but I need you guys to grasp like the level of the choices that she was making. Like, these are things that are going to literally change her life forever. Anything positive that she said she was gonna do, she would go back on her word. Weed was like the only thing in life that mattered. I feel like a lot of us may know somebody like that. So that's like, you know, I feel like that's kind of normal. And we've all either been or known someone that was in La La Land over a man. Which at one point she was, and that led to a million other fucking things. And it was just really sad to see because she genuinely was the odd one out of the group. Because there would be like very important things in life that she would just shrug her shoulders to. And then I noticed that I would get annoyed with stuff that other people did. But if she did the exact same thing, like, I would make a friendly excuse for her because I loved her. But it got to the point where like I had to start caring more. And I know you guys are like, Morgan, what the fuck does this story have to do with my ring? Okay. So the story does get really deep. Like, this girl began stressing all of us out. So now we're nearing like the end of our friendship, and everybody else's final straw was her birthday party. Okay, so we all paid to rent out a pool for a few hours to celebrate for her. Based on what we already paid, there was a specific number of guests that could attend, but then you had to pay an additional $400 if you wanted more people to be able to come. So we kind of figured that like our friend group would be invited, and then she had some of her personal friends that she wanted to attend. I want to just put a pin in it that she was fully aware of all the communications. We had a group chat with the people that were trying to help plan her party, and basically the communication between her and her personal friends was on her. We didn't have anything to do with it. So me and my friends were like keeping tabs of who's coming, who's not attending. And she basically shrugs her shoulders and says she doesn't know who's coming or who's not based on her personal friends. But here's the issue. Me and all of my friends already paid to attend. Her personal friends I mean, shit, we ain't get nothing. But since we were the ones that was booking the party for her, that means that we're the ones that are required to pay this extra fee if extra people are coming. So when we try to confirm with her, like if her other friends were gonna be able to pay for their spot, her excuse was that they are mothers, so they probably don't have the money. What the actual fuck? What the fuck does that have to do with anything? And like, this was also like a trending topic because she was also like a new mother herself, right? And she constantly used this excuse for way too many things in life, which I think for our friend group, it was a little bit of a hard pill to swallow because her and another girl in the group were basically new moms at the exact same time. But they were like very clearly two different types of mothers with opposite priorities. And the one that we would say has a like healthier mindset, she was thriving. She was doing fine. So with her making all these excuses of like motherhood being why she couldn't do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, you looked kind of fucking crazy. Of course, some of the excuses were valid, but to basically say that because people are mothers, they're not gonna have money to pay for a fucking birthday party. So then we end up covering the tab for her motherhood friends. So if you paid the extra fee, it allowed you to bring 5 extra guests. We kept trying to confirm with her to like just really make sure that her friends were coming because there were some people that could no longer come because we didn't have enough space with her bringing her own friends. Tell me why only 2 out of the 5 showed up. And since some people couldn't make it, it ended up balancing out to the point where we would have never had to pay extra for anybody because there wasn't that many people, which is something that we kept asking her, like, please, bro, just confirm that your friends are actually coming because, like, we didn't want to pay that. But again, she shrugged her shoulders at it, bro. She really did not care. Okay, next story time is my actual final straw. So this was the gas station story. So one of the major concerns was her being in her late 20s and not having a license or a car. It was something that as a friend group, like, for years, we had been telling her, like, she just really should do, just naturally, you should probably know how to drive. It's a typical skill that I think everybody should know how to do at a certain age.
And that is strictly for safety purposes. Driving is absolutely a privilege. It's not something that everybody gets the opportunity to do. There's also people who prefer public transportation. I completely get that. I just think for the safety of yourself, because you never know when an emergency is gonna happen, like you just should know the basics of driving.
And it got to the point where we had to get into an extremely heated argument for her to realize how serious me and some of the other girls were about her just literally getting her life together. Like, we gave her every chance under the sun to get herself together and it just wasn't happening on her own. So we're like, you know, as good friends, we're thinking that we need to push her. But she's not the type to like do well with just casual conversations. Like, you literally have to get in this girl's ass for her to realize like, what the fuck is going on? And like, that hurt. It hurt to have all of these serious conversations with her because like she just wasn't getting it, y'all. So she finally gets her license in her car because, like I said, we basically had to bully her to do it. A few months after getting her car, she posts on her story some joke about not knowing what gas her car takes. But then she added that she was gonna pick the cheapest option every time. So y'all, out of pure concern, I'm reaching out to her to tell her the different ways that she can check what kind of gas her car takes. Like physically checking the actual inside of your car that lists the type of gas you could take, literally Googling your car, even ChatGPT. And then I'm explaining to her why she needs to make sure that she's putting the right gas in, because I don't believe in like telling somebody to do something and then not explaining why they need to do that. I used to train people at my job all the time, and one of the tactics was getting people to understand, because people don't like doing things just because they're told. They like doing things because they understand the reasoning why they're doing it. So I practice that in my friendships and my relationships. So we start going back and forth. I don't know how this even turns into a heated argument, but one thing I will say is she has a very slick mouth. Like, she is extremely passive aggressive all the time, and it's something that we've had several conversations about in the past. But this time she said some snarky ass shit that I was not letting slide. So I basically explained to her that this post does 2 things. It shares that you're struggling, and it shows that you are not the sharpest tool in the shed. And everything like kind of has context, right? Because like, I feel like on a typical basis, none of that matters. Like, who actually gives a fuck, right? But if you are going to publicly share that you are struggling, and you also publicly share that you smoke weed pretty much every day, it's not a good look, and I just really don't think anybody needs to be in your financial business. But a lot of people don't need to be in your business, period. But as somebody who constantly overshares and shares my own business, there's one thing that y'all will never know, and that's my finances. But it gets worse, because when you owe me money, and you have now owed me money for over a year, ooh, again, I'm not trying to spill her business, but that technically you owe me money is my motherfucking business. Now, on top of that, I fully believe that the company that you keep is a reflection of yourself. I had a different friend that was secretly sleeping around with people, and I didn't know until males that I knew were telling me the tea on her, because guys were asking my male friends if I put out just as easily as she does, just because I'm close with her. Now, to be fair, she got cut off for lying, You know, I didn't cut her off for, you know, sleeping around. I don't care. But yes, your friends are a reflection of you in a way, to an extent. So me publicly having broke friends that make bad decisions just isn't something I want as I get older and as I grow into myself. And I really think that's fair, y'all. Like, I don't think that's like a rude thing to be a thing. So getting back into the story, this was the point of no return. Me giving her this advice turned into her telling me that I am entitled and egotistical. Me trying to make sure that you don't look like a fucking buffoon in front of the world is entitled and egotistical. I guess. So a little over a year ago, I got the Oura Ring, and one thing the Oura Ring tracks is stress. I use my Oura Ring like it is a video game, okay? I check my daily scores, I read about my body, the whole shebang. And one thing I noticed was that every time I talked to her, whether that was venting or whether it was even just a casual conversation, my stress scores were through the fucking roof. Like to a T, I would only spike on the dates and at the exact times that I was talking to her. Because for like the last 6 months to the year of our friendship, 70% of our conversations was me lecturing her, me getting in her ass, or me trying to talk her through another situation that she put herself in. And it was stressing me the fuck out. Like a goddamn nightmare. I would wake up worried about what she was gonna complain to me about that day and how I'm supposed to show up as a friend for her during her time of like weakness, I guess. I was missing sleep by going over to her place in the middle of the night whenever she was having breakdowns and she needed me. I even started smoking again after going cold turkey for 2 years because she really needed me to be there for her. And she smoked so much that honestly, y'all, just being around her, it just influenced me to start smoking again. Which, by the way, I do not blame her at all for that. Like, I know that that is fully an issue with myself and my personal discipline. But I will say that all of my other friends who knew that I wasn't smoking anymore purposely made sure to not put me in settings or positions that might, you know, change that. As my one friend put it, you would not take a retired crackhead to a crack house. I feel like all of my friends, well, to be fair, none of my friends really smoke like that. But even the ones that did pick up a J, if they needed to smoke or they wanted to smoke, they would do it prior to hanging out with me and they would make sure that it wasn't around. Like, they just found other ways, I feel like, to make me feel more comfortable in my goals and what I'm looking to do. Whereas this person blatantly had it around me, kind of was like dangling in my face like a fucking carrot. I just want to clarify that I know that it was my fault, it was my discipline and why I started smoking again. But I will say that she was the only friend that seemed to not really give a fuck that I had these goals to stop. And that was kind of sad. So after tracking this Oura Ring so much, I am realizing that there is only one thing in my life that is consistently stressing me. And it is this fucking lady. Now there was one major decision that she made during these past few years, where after this large decision, I literally watched her life and the spark drain out of her. It was to the point where she became someone that I could no longer recognize. She became this like nasty and evil human being. And it's really sad, but I genuinely know that this major event hurt her so bad that she lost herself. She lost herself as a woman. She lost herself as a person. And this is a side that I've never seen from her. But this was an event that was fully avoidable. And literally all of our friends tried to get her to avoid this from happening. But she did it anyways. The last thing that put the nail in the coffin was my surprise going away party. My best friends came together and they surprised me with a spa day and sushi date. And this is where they all gave me gifts. They spent quality time with me. They took the time to celebrate my big move out of the States. And after the gas station situation, I told my 2 closest friends that like I was no longer talking to her. So unknowingly to me at the time, they uninvited her to this spa day. But one of the gifts was one of those like money wheels where you pull like $1 bill and then a bunch of dollar bills follow behind it. But this wasn't no dollar bills, you know what I'm saying? My girls had some money. So all of them wanted to help me with like my first month of bills, which I thought was the cutest thing ever. But this friend, when she was uninvited, she took the money out of that wheel and she asked for it back. Which I do want to clarify, I really would not have cared. Like, I think that that's totally fine for you to like want to take the money back. But the only reason why I was so confused is because she owed me money. So in my eyes, I'm like, just leave the money, girl. So that we can just be even and call it a day. There's a reason why I don't loan money to people anymore. But yeah, she owed me thousands. So for anybody that thinks that like I'm being dramatic, but taking back the money was just, yeah, rude to me. She reached out saying that she was uninvited, but she really wanted to be there. And I basically responded and told her I wanted nothing to do with her in a respectful way. Like I just told her like, it's really just, there's nothing to be said here. We are completely understood, and that was that. She then blocked me and all of my friends. I don't know what the fuck my friends got to do with this, you know, because I feel like this was a very personal thing between me and her. But yeah, everybody caught strays, which is fine though, because I feel like everybody knew that we were outgrowing her, you know? So like it was gonna happen eventually. And yeah, ever since then, I deeply pay attention to the way that people make me feel using my ring. And it actually has helped me regulate healthier relationships and conversations with people. It allows me to see when my body or my mind is like hyper fixed on something and how I can be a better friend in the future or even communicate more effectively with that information. And this isn't an ad. I don't even think Oura Ring offers affiliate links, but I'm still gonna link it below for y'all to grab if you want one. The ring also tracks sleep quality. So like your total sleep time, how many hours of like REM sleep, deep sleep, light sleep. It provides a readiness score, which lets you know if you're like recovered or if you need more rest. It monitors your body temperature trends to help prevent illnesses. It tracks your menstrual patterns and fertility awareness. It tracks your steps, activity, and calorie burn. It detects your stress patterns. And it helps with your wellness insights like your rest, recovery, and performance. So yeah, if you needed a sign to drop that friend that isn't growing with you, let this maybe be the one. My dad always says you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. No matter how much you love someone, you cannot bring them to the winning team if they don't want to be there. I love that girl down and dearly, no matter what we went through. And to this day and forever, I will always wish her and her family nothing but love and a prosperous life. But sometimes you outgrow people, and that is not a bad thing. And also, like, I don't want it to seem like it's bad that other people outgrow you, because other people do that to you too. We all have different paths in life, and at the end of the day, I truly hope that our different paths, me and her, that it leads us to at least the same level of happiness one day. And that's how I dropped a friend, because my Oura Ring basically told me to. I hope you guys enjoyed my story time. You guys can vote for my next one. And make sure to check out my other channels or check out my auto account, because there's a slightly different version of this vlog on that account. And I guess I'll see you guys next time.